One very important thing to know and remember about retinal colobomas is that they increase the risk of the retina detaching at some point. If you think of the retina as a kind of film, thin film of very delicate skin attached all around the inside back of the eyeball, it can come away. I like to think of it, if you think of a wall with wallpaper and the bathroom upstairs leaks and water runs down the wall, as long as the water runs over the outside of the wallpaper, everything's probably okay. But if there's a little tear in the wallpaper and the water starts to go behind the wallpaper, very quickly it starts to bring the wallpaper away from the wall, and eventually the whole piece of wallpaper will wash away and will fall down. And that's kind of what happens if the retina gets a little tear or a break in it. The fluid in the eye can get through that, go behind the retina and start to push it away. And sometimes quite quickly, it can detach the whole retina from the back of the eye. There's no pain involved. All it means is a little black spot appears, and then the black spot gets bigger and bigger and bigger until in the end, the eye can't see anything at all. And I say this with authority because this happened to my eye. I had an accident with a spike in my eye, and they repaired the eye, but removing bits of dirt and paint and wood from my eye that came off the spike, they had to put a needle in to suction, and the needle came a little too close to the retina, and they were worried they might have made a tiny little cut in the retina. They did warn me, and 2 days later, I saw a little black spot. I rubbed the eye, I couldn't remove it, and over a period of about 8 or 9 hours, the black spot grew and grew until I couldn't see anything at all. And it's quite likely that because there's no pain involved, that children don't give any indication that this is happening, especially if they have two eyes. They might not realize that one of the eyes is shutting down. And it might be an eye that's the weaker eye anyway, or that doesn't see terribly well anyway. If the retina detaches, an ophthalmologist can tell immediately by dilating and looking into the eye. The normal treatment is to do surgery as quickly as possible and to push the retina back, possibly using lasers to fix the retina in place. They often will put a band around the eyeball, a strap, and they will inject silicone oil into the eye, and that person will have to posture with their head downwards for a period of time so that the oil floats up and pushes the retina into place so the nerves can reconnect. And they managed to get almost the whole of my retina back in place because I had the surgery only 2 days after the detachment. Now, for children with charge, if a detachment is discovered, it's quite possible that it's a long time after it happened. And in a situation like that, it wouldn't be worth doing the surgery. So the ophthalmologist might well say it's too late to attempt to put it back. Another problem is that if the coloboma, the original coloboma, is quite large, any point around the edge of the retina where it meets the coloboma, the retina is going to be abnormally thin. So it's going to be more vulnerable to tears developing. And when they try and put it back, where my eye only had a small little hole in the retina, it might be quite a big hole, which might make it impossible to put it back. So it's a very complicated problem. And it does mean that if there are retinal colobomas, certain things would not be recommended, especially anything that involves impact, especially to the head, like boxing or kickboxing, or a diving from a diving board into water, or actually anything that impacts the body in major traumatic impact, like crashing into a crash mat or playing rugby or American football. So those issues need to be discussed very early on. And we know that children with charge, because of many things we know, they're delayed in walking, they have poor balance, and they fall a lot. So there are all sorts of potential strong impacts to the head, which could cause retinal detachment. So you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You want to improve confidence and get the children up and walking. You want to improve their ability to save themselves if they do lose their balance. But equally, you don't want the heads being banged too often, too hard. And I do know a number of children who have special crash helmets, soft helmets that they wear through the day because of constant falling.